Hey everyone, welcome back to AWM Insights. It's your Power 3, 2 CPWAs and a CFA. We are Eric, Brandon, and Justin.
Eric, I got a question for you. You think you're going to be able to log on to that TikTok on Monday? Seems like Trump and the Commerce Department sure don't want you to, but we got a court standing in the way, so what do you think?
Ooh, man, I know people are excited to see my new videos, but before I answer that question, Justin, you shared some interesting news with me about Apple.
Yeah, Apple's always in the news, whether it's their iPhone or new product they're coming out with. This past week, there's been a lot of noise around the App Store and their charges and whether they're fair. Spotify, Epic Games, which is the maker of Fortnite, and Match Group, the parent company of Tinder, have joined a nonprofit coalition called the Coalition of App Fairness, which are bringing some legal action against Apple to see if they can bring down their charges. It seems like they're having an immediate impact. Apple actually today came out with some concessions to certain companies providing apps on their App Store, and namely those that have been impacted by COVID. They're waiving the 30% App Store fee for them.
It's always very interesting to hear. You've got these big companies crying afoul of Apple, which really brings a question of antitrust laws, right? There's been a lot of coverage of, do they have a monopoly? Brandon, TikTok, the reason they're in the news right now is all around government issues. Can you fill our audience in? What's the latest with TikTok?
Yeah, I mean, unless you've been hiding in a hole, I think you probably have heard that, Trump's on a mission to get rid of TikTok here in the U.S., or at least dissolve it from its Chinese owner, ByteDance. And so far that's been the rhetoric: forcing a sale. We're going to shut you down. We're going to pull you off the app stores. But he's got a judge standing in the way. So we got U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols on the flip side is telling Trump, hey, play by the rules. This has got to be a legal threat. And so you need to file some legal papers defending this decision by Friday, or, we're going to let this app continue on here and let TikTok and everybody that's enjoying it keep uploading those silly videos.
You can add to that TikTok crying afoul and claiming around 40 to 50% of its monthly users could be at stake here. If there's a 2-month ban at minimum, if there's a 6-month ban, they could see something like 80 to 90% of their user base dropping off there. So there's some high stakes here. Politics are getting involved, courts are getting involved, and multinational cross-border issues are coming to the forefront here. So this is a complicated story going on.
So really my question for you guys is, as I flip open my Robin Hood, Dave Portnoy playbook as the average Joe investor, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Oracle and Walmart now have some ownership in TikTok. The play has to be go buy Oracle and Walmart stock, right? Is this the right move?
I mean, yeah, we're going to see average Joes all over the place, trying to get this done. Every broker is calling up their favorite client and trying to sell this. But, at the end of the day, we don't even know what Oracle and Walmart are buying. There's speculation. Maybe this is just the rights, but they're not getting the algorithm. Speculation that this is just, the Trump's buddy, Larry Ellison, bailing him out. We don't even really know yet. So if you're rushing to that judgment, that's certainly not the way to go about it. And as we all know, as we flip on our pro hat and become the pro investor here, what's the first question we have to answer? And that's, where does this fit within your financial structure? Should you even be out there trying to gain outsized returns, or do you have better priorities that are helping you engage and achieve your goals? So that's question one. And then you've heard from us on previous podcasts talking about the private markets. And if you are going to go after some outsized returns, that's probably the best place. The odds are in your favor as opposed to the public markets. But it brings me up to a conversation I just had with an investor that is invested in ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok. And it's not as clear of a picture as most would think. So he was explaining to me, 9 months ago, if we would have told everybody, hey, we can get you in on TikTok, how pumped would people be? It's a popular app out there. People are using it. That age-old wisdom of the average Joe, go buy what you like. It doesn't always kind of flush out that way. So there's obviously a lot more that goes into evaluating a proper investment. And if you look at it today, those investment returns that everybody were excited on the horizon or the potential for ByteDance, unfortunately, given this, they're dissolving their most important division, TikTok, potentially. So the financial picture's totally changed. And this is not an easy game to go play. So, private side is great, but it's not always a clear path.
Yeah, Brandon, and it also ties back into the diversification conversation we had a few weeks back. That same logic applies in the private markets as well. You don't want to necessarily be concentrated into a single company, especially in the venture capital space. I mean, if you look at the data from seed company to Series A companies, only about 4% of startups that started out as, were funded in a seed round make it through that to a Series A round. So there's a lot that fail, and you don't know. So you want to remain diversified. You don't want to chase these one-off TikTok deals, even if you can get access to it, right? The better approach in the private markets as well as the public markets is to be diversified, take a fund-to-fund approach, or spread your bets out across a number of different startups if you can get access to the high-quality ones as well. And one other thing about this whole deal that comes to mind is not only is it complicated because of all the political machinations that are going on here, it's also a fire sale. Now, maybe you could argue that brings some value to it because ByteDance has to sell at last minute, but they also are incentivized to make the deal structure really convoluted and complicated, as you've already mentioned. So you don't even know what you're potentially buying, and there's a deadline here that's really pushing people to do potentially shoddy due diligence with the whole deal.
So what you're saying, Justin, is it's never good to rush into something. I mean, that kind of goes back with the age-old wisdom there. It also, you brought up a fantastic point. I was having a conversation with another venture capitalist at a very well-known VC firm. And he pointed out that, when you go into these individual deals, remember who you're playing against. Where are you going to fit on that cap table? There's stories all over the place of, yeah, we're all in ByteDance, but we're all in at different spots. And if you find yourself too far down on that cap table, you could certainly find yourself in a world of hurt. I think we're seeing that right now with a company, Palantir, that's preparing to go public. And in their latest revision of their S-1 filing, it states that the Class A common shares are only going to have about a 3.4% voting power in the company. So how much power do you actually have? Where are you at? What's your investment get you? If things go bad, are you going to get any money out of the deal? So as we all know, the private side could potentially have big outsized returns, but there's a lot of complexity there. And if you're not with the best of the best, those venture investors that are continually repeating and have that persistence of performance, you're probably going to get caught when the tide goes out with your pants down.
Guys, I love this information. It's super helpful to know. And for our audience, we're always trying to protect you from making those mistakes that we see so many amateur makes when it comes to your portfolio. And so just as a recap, I think here with this news about TikTok is we don't trade headlines. We ultimately believe that it's very difficult to know which individual stock is going to produce returns without really any evidence there. And so stick with diversification, both in the public and the private markets. And we would always say, make sure that we're asking the next level of questions. It's not only did I get access, but why did I get access and what type of access did we have in that investment? Make sure that you guys are getting all the up-to-date releases on the information we're providing and any extra resources by heading over to awminsights.com. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter. We'll get everything into your inbox. And until next time, stay humble, stay hungry, and always be a pro. The information in this podcast is educational and general in nature and does not take into consideration the listener's personal circumstances. Therefore, it is not intended to be a substitute for specific, individualized financial, legal, or tax advice. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, Consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a final decision.